So, what are we going to talk about?
I have a list of 10 questions. I did send them to
Because
Kristen, but
she told me that some of them were about various crimes I had committed in my life,
oh,
and
yeah, definitely. What's up, everybody? My name's Allie, and welcome back to another episode of Booked in Detroit. Today, I got to sit down with the very talented author and illustrator, among many other things, Jim Benton. Check it out. So, why don't we start by just having you tell us a little bit about yourself?
okay. I'm Jim Benton, and I'm an artist and author, and I do licensing. I do some entertainment stuff, and that's what I like to do best. And I'm lucky enough that that's what I get to do for a living.
Nice. So, have you ever based a character for one of your books on someone you know in real life?
I put some of my books out here. So one of the ones is one of the series I did is Dear Dumb Diary. And Dear Dumb Diary is kind of about a lot of people jammed together into just three people. So in particular, the main character in that is a aggregation of lots of people that I've known.
Nice.
But yeah.
How does your creative process change when you're writing or illustrating one of your novels compared to when you're writing or illustrating for a magazine like Mad?
So the books, because they're so much longer, there's more plotting, there's more figuring out how it's going to work. And the magazine stuff like in Mad or New Yorker or the cartoons that I post online, generally those are between 1 and 4 panels. So the process is much more immediate. In the books you have to sort of have to figure, how's this going to start, how's this going to end, what happens in the middle. So the books are more involved.
That makes sense. So, over the years, you've introduced readers to many fun characters like Jamie Kelly, Stinker, Fran Kay, Blurmp, and many more through your children's novels. What typically comes first, the character or the story?
Um, Lots of times, I think it kind of happens at the same time. So with Blurmp happened because I had a series called Catwad, and Catwad happened. The publisher wanted me to do books on it, and it was already a licensed property, and I wasn't sure it would make sense in a book because Catwad is just always angry, and that would get boring.
Yeah.
So, but one time when we were at a meeting, I was sketching and I drew Catwad with his typical angry face, and then I drew him again, but he had a big dumb smile. And it was kind of when I saw them together that I realized that I could make a book from that. So in that case, that started first. With Franny, kind of the idea happened first, and then I drew the character. It kind of seems to all sort of happen at once most of the time.
Nice. What's the most rewarding part of being an author to you?
Um, when sometimes you get email from parents saying that their kids didn't like to read before they discovered your books, and that's really meaningful because you know reading is so important in so many ways, and I'm perfectly happy being the cotton candy that'll introduce kids to more substantial books later.
Yeah.
But like being a part of that, and also like I was just at ALA, which is the American Librarians Association in Chicago, and some of the people I'm talking to, they grew up with some of the characters that I did, and hearing them talk about those, how it affected them. Like I've got an email from a couple women who said that Franny K. Stein is what led them to a career in the sciences
Oh, wow.
because the character made them feel like it was okay for girls to like science, and so that's pretty important too, because I was just trying to make them laugh.
Yeah.
But when you find out that you've sort of accidentally done something meaningful, that's pretty rewarding.
Yeah. That's really cool. Along with being a very accomplished author, you've also had the opportunity to curate a few shows for television as well. Can you tell me what your experience was like writing and doing character design for TV, and how similar or different is the process like when you're writing a novel or something else?
Yeah. So when you're working in entertainment, so I created a show for Fox Kids, And I also do stuff for Illumination, like on Despicable Me and Secret Life of Pets. And the difference is a book is like it's one person creating something for one person to enjoy at a time. So it's a real direct communication, but entertainment's really collaborative. There's a lot of people working on it. And when you're working on an entertainment project, you just have to be okay with the idea that sort of everybody involved is going to get their fingerprints on it.
Yeah.
So, I did a movie based on Dear Dumb Diary, and when somebody might, maybe somebody who's in wardrobe or something dresses your character a certain way, and you're not really crazy about it, you learn to like, well, that's not the hill I'm going to die on, right?
Right.
If this whole movie hangs on the quality of a sweater in one shot, I mean, it's going to be a terrible movie, right?
Yeah.
So, in entertainment, you learn you're working with a lot of people, and everybody has to sort of be able to contribute. And lots of times they're right. They just because you created something doesn't mean you're always right about it. Sometimes somebody else comes in and sees something that you just didn't recognize.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Nice. So with AI becoming more prevalent in everyday life, are you worried about how that could impact real life illustrators?
Yeah, I think for some illustrators, it really has an enormous impact
Yeah.
because there's some things that AI can do so quickly, and actually kind of so well sometimes. But it's not really thinking, it's not really intelligence. It's going
Right.
out and it's scraping other people's work and sort of, putting it all, aggregating that into an
Yeah.
image. So it's in that way, it's super unfair to illustrators because they're losing out on work because their work has trained the machine. So so in that regard, yeah, that is troubling for a lot of different creators. The But the thing is the genie's out of the bottle.
Yeah.
We see talking babies and we see cats, like wearing clothes and walking around, and it's almost impossible to not be fascinated and amused by that. But and AI does great things, like it found extra Nazca lines. It can identify breast cancer in ways that human eyes can't. And so in some ways it's great. I think it's a little bit like in the 50s, they used the term radioactivity. And every science fiction movie, they just sprinkled the word radioactivity on things. And it was, and we were scared by it. But like radiation can give you cancer, but it can also cure cancer.
Yeah.
So I think that AI is one of those things like, a hammer. It can be used to build things, it can be used to destroy things. It definitely requires regulation to protect people's work.
Right.
I'm 100% believe that. And everything we're learning about what the data centers are using, and evidently they're the things that support a lot of this because it requires so much computing. I'm not so sure that I need the talking cats as much as I need like water and
Right.
stuff like that. So fascinating, good for some stuff, really kind of bad for other things, I think.
Yeah. So what can you tell me about your soon to be released book, Tot the Toad Makes a Mess?
Oh, that's it's told in rhyme, and it's about a toad who's like, I always write grouchy characters for some reason, but Tot is really grouchy, and little frog, who's a friend of his, decides he wants something to eat, and Tot is so much of an egomaniac. He believes that he's the best cook in the world. So he starts making things and insisting that the frog, Waggy, tries them. And they're all horrible. It's all terrible. And so in the end, Waggy makes a dish for him that Tot has to admit is actually superb. And it's quite simple. And
That sounds really cute.
I'll leave it for the readers to discover what that is.
That sounds so cute. I'm excited for that to come out. So, It's Happy Bunny has been a huge success. When you were working on it and creating it, Did you expect it to become as successful as it has become, or was it completely unexpected?
So my studio is full of bulletin boards. And like I see your bulletin board in the back there.
Yeah,
And when I have ideas, I would just like scribble them up and put them up there. And after a while, you start to believe that an idea is stupid. So you take it down and it goes in the files, you throw it away. But that particular one, I had done one that just had a little drawing of the bunny and it says, "You suck and that's sad." And it was funny to me when I kept seeing it. So eventually I had sort of learned about licensing before this. I had done other licensing programs. So I knew what to do. I knew how to take it to the licensing show it to manufacturers, show it to retailers. It still took about 3 years for people to like, for a retailer to try it, to test it. And that was Hot Topic. And from there, it just kind of kept growing and growing. And we still sell it. Hot Topic right now carries some of the best plush we've ever made.
yeah,
And so yeah, it endures. I guess I didn't expect it to be as big as it was, but I don't know. I kind of create so much stuff. I sort of never know where it's going to go. Some things flop and some things do well.
yeah. I remember seeing it all over the place when I was younger, like all over the place. It was really, really popular in my area. So,
Yeah, yeah.
what will your book fest booth look like, and what are you most excited for the day of the event?
Well, this is the first time I've done this book fest. So we'll take a bunch of books. I'll take stuff to draw for people, and I don't know exactly what it'll look like. We have banners that we can put up. We'll see. I'm not sure what they let us put up. So I will be interested in seeing what the booth looks like because I don't know yet. I guess I'm most excited to see maybe kids that know some of the stuff already. We get that at shows very often, and to draw pictures for people.
Nice. So, last question is, where can people find you online?
They could go to jimbenton.com, and from there they can find like links to books and links to other stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you for talking to me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, you too.